Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Canadian farm, where today we're going to have to go to the shop. Well, go into the shop screen at least. Today we're going to rent, hopefully for an hour each. Yes, I'll rent this for an hour. Wonderful. Okay, so they're at the dealership, which I don't want them to be. I want them to these three be reset. There we... I've chosen the same more twice, haven't I? There we go. So today, as I've kind of promised and hinted for a while, we are going to make some hay. Now, it's probably going to be a couple of episodes of it, because, well, it's quite a reasonably sized field for the cows, and I need to get the hay to make some money, because we need money. So, since the last episode, essentially nothing's happened. That's the quickest rundown I can give. I am so tempted to take collisions off the gates. So very tempted. But no, I'm just going to suffer through. Okay, let's get the front mower going. And the rear mower is going to roughly the same place. Good. So I'm tempted to use GPS for this, but I kind of prefer to do this myself, and my foot is really itchy. Oh my god. I'm just going to... as soon as I start recording, of course, it starts getting itchy. I've got it subdued for now. So, we haven't let the fields grow anymore. We haven't gone forward another day. I thought I didn't put water on them, but apparently I did, which is, you know, always helpful. Completely forgot that I watered them in the last episode. So, a bit of a boring one, just mowing the grass, but needs to be done. Well, it doesn't need to be done. I want it to be done. Because, well, we need money, and hay is easy money. Basically. Especially seeing as I've moved the bale destroy trigger, which is the bale sell trigger. That is going to make things so much easier. It's actually inside the forage tip trigger now. So for those of you who don't know, there are actually two separate triggers you can put on a map. One is for the forage wagon, so that it can say, oh well, this is where I'm supposed to be able to empty, so I can empty here. And the other is for bales, to destroy them, and that's where you sell your bales. Now on most maps the bale sell trigger is in more or less the same place as the tip trigger on. Yeah, they're both in the same building. But sometimes, well, as I've discovered, the default default FS15 positions for them are a bit odd, where the bale destroy trigger is actually physically inside the building, and it's really difficult to get to. I'm an absolute pain with this. This is why I use GPS so much. It's my crutch, because I'm an idiot. Seriously, I'm just so bad at this game. It's like, oh, I'm doing so well on all my save games, just because I put literally dozens of hours into them. This save game, for example, I don't think I've got too many hours in this one. Time played 6 hours. So that's not too bad. I know there are plenty of people around YouTube who will never ever put 6 hours into any save game for any reason. But yeah, I'm just a bit insane. I think Bantacow ended up somewhere around 70 hours. I think. And I know Cobra Park's already up into the double figures in terms of hours. At least I think so. I mean, you're seeing pretty much everything I'm doing, but well, everything that's being done on there, but the harvests are so sped up. Like every harvest video is like an hour of actual work, then that I then speed up to be like 20 minutes or so. That's why I just throw music behind it, because one, I know you guys wouldn't appreciate 5 videos in a row of me doing a harvest, and 2, I know you guys wouldn't appreciate me, and I wouldn't appreciate me for trying to do all of that and record, you know, all of the commentary, or it was essentially me going around the field for an hour and a half at a time, which is what the last harvest took. I hope you're enjoying the weird kind of story thing I've got going on that isn't really a story, but is just there to kind of, so that I've got something to talk about. I don't know how to describe it. It's a story, but it's not, but it is. I hope you're enjoying the map anyway. I really do like Cobra Park, and I must do that. I'm tempted to record a tutorial of how to take the collisions off all of the bushes if you want, all the hedges, because there is like a 10-second method you can use. If you, I can even describe it here. If you double click on one of the hedges, well, if you click on one of the hedges in Cobra, you'll see it'll highlight blue. If you double click really quickly, you will then see pretty much the entire map highlight in blue. That's all of the hedges, and then you can just, I think there's a collision mesh tick box. You can tick, or you can untick, and that turns off the collisions for literally every hedge on the map. It's really just a 5-second thing, and then obviously you save the map and rezip the folder, and you're done. And that's how to remove collisions from pretty much everything on a map. Like seriously, it's insanely easy, and it's one of the easier edits you can do to a map. In fact, is turning collisions off things. That's why I said I'm really tempted to turn collisions off on the gates, because that's actually oh dear, it's actually a lot easier of an edit than going around the storage point there and manually moving all of the concrete pads so that they look like a ramp. Much easier of an edit. Obviously I can't release this map or anything like that, but I can tell you how to do the edits, and it's really just a case of trial and error with Giants Editor. And if you're thinking of making your own map for whatever reason, I think there are a couple of people who make maps subscribe to me. If you're thinking of making your own map and you're not used to Giants Editor, honestly, the simplest thing you could do is edit other maps. Just to get a feel for Giants Editor. That's why I'm editing. Well, Cobra Park, I just edited the i3D in a text editor. You've seen the tutorial on how to install soil mod. Getting rid of GMK is a bit more difficult. You actually have to look for the GMK assets and individually delete dimensions of them, but it's quite an easy edit to make. Once you find one of the GMK, the Gullimist, once you find a reference to something out of Gullimist, you know what you're looking for, and it suddenly becomes really quite easy to fix the map. Especially seeing as the newer versions of soil mod, if calc is registered as a fill type, you cannot lime the fields, you cannot put down lime, which is kind of a problem, because then you'll end up with insane soil pH. You won't end up with insane soil pH, you'll end up with a pH of 0, and the soil will eat your shoes, which I suppose is insane. So, yeah. So, if you didn't guess already, I quite like the JCB DLC. I quite like this fast track, because number one, I haven't been able to afford another tractor. Number two, I haven't taken out a loan so that I can afford another tractor on this map. I really like the stuff from the JCB DLC. I still think it's a bit overpriced for what you get. I mean, you're just getting 4 vehicles, essentially, for your €10. It's, 250 a vehicle. That's a bit rich. That is really a bit rich, especially seeing as Giants have still come out with patch 1.3. It reeks of paid modding at levels of, well, we'd like money, please. Not that I'm against paid modding. I should say I'm not against paid modding per se. For those of you who followed the Skyrim debacle, not against paid modding. I think it has its place, and I think if it's well regulated and actually gives something back, there's a good argument for it. I think that Steam, Valve and Bethesda particularly just didn't implement it at all correctly. I mean, Valve did essentially nothing, or were going to do essentially nothing, and then take a bigger cut than the actual mod author. Bethesda taking 45%. They made the game, they can take whatever the hell cut they want. If they take a sub 50% cut, that's kind of fine with me. I mean, most mods, literally half the reason they work is because the game engine exists. And there's modifications to the game engine or game assets or whatever. So I can get behind Bethesda taking 40%. No, sorry, just 45%. Steam taking 30% and then giving the mod author 25%, actually less than 25%. There's a reason for that. That was silly. And I know the whole paid modding thing's behind us. I just want to talk about it in retrospect. The uproar really, I think, was correct in that it was implemented badly and should not have been. It should have been better thought out and was not fit for purpose in the form it was released, the entire system. And I think Valve and Steam were right to, well, they had no real choice, but they were right to rescind the decision. The issue really is that a lot of people came across as being very, very entitled. I mean, a lot of the arguments I saw from people was, well, we've never played from, mods are free, mods are supposed to be free. Mods are free because most publishers don't want you charging for mods. For example, in the Farming Simulator ELA, they introduced a license agreement, which I'm sure nobody's read, but most people know it exists. Paid modding is explicitly forbidden, so you can, the way I understand it is you can request donations for mods. If you're doing modding, like making maps, you can say, oh, well, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could help me and, donate €1 or €2 or whatever for the map. But you can still download it for free if you want. That, I think, from what I understand, is completely above board, and Giants will never ever take someone down over. And I've seen it happen, well, I've seen people do this on Facebook. If you run the same modding Facebook page or whatever, and I've just raised the same more that I dropped. And you have specific mods that you can only get by donating or subscribing or whatever. That is paid modding, and that's against the terms of service for Farming Simulator. Giants can and possibly will make your game license key useless. They can turn off the license key, they can take you to court and demand 100% of the money you made from those mods. It's against the rules. Giants are completely within their rights to say, well, we never authorized you to charge for these, so we want our money because you're charging for essentially our game assets. Giants It says in the EOLA, all mods and everything are property of giants, and giants reserve the right to use them however they wish. Can I seriously go out through? Oh my god, I could have come in through here. So, giants won't normally act upon those provisions, but if there's a particularly good mod, giants will, you know, remod it and put it into the game engine. I think it's happened a couple of times. So I'm just going to return these. And I'm going to rent a tether. I'm going to rent this one because I'm in a rush and want fast tedding. I'm also going to rent a windrower for an hour because realistically I'm not going to spend an hour with each of them. So renting them both at the same time is kind of a good idea. So that's that. And there they are. Let's get the tether first. And that one bale, I don't know what's up with it. I need to go into Giant's Editor and have a look at that bale actually. Because I'm not sure if that actually exists or if it's some sort of weird artifact on the map. Either way, it's weird. I don't like it. So it's time to ted the field. So let's get this tether unfolded. I know it's quite a large one. Get out of the way, gate. God dang it. The more I play this map, the more I'm tempted to just turn off collisions on that damn gate. Because I think it's going to cause problems now that I'm going to be windrowing, and I'm going to have to windrow and ted in reasonably close proximity to the gate. And in fact, to the gullies. One thing I do like, and I've just noticed, is this windrower does actually, it has joints so that it conforms to the land. As you can see, it's bending. That's something that, well, I haven't used this windrower before. It's something I never noticed. From even other people playing the game, because I don't think... Something I've noticed is a lot of people will make hay off camera, for whatever reason. It's very rare that I see anyway, it's very rare that I see through all the videos that I watch, that I see people making hay on screen and going through the entire process. So it's pretty unusual for me to see anyone else tedding. I know that this is the correct way to do it because, you know, you're turning over the grass you want it to be turned over. So I don't think there is a wrong way to ted, barring, you know, reversing the tether the entire way up the field. That's silly. I'm sure somebody somewhere has managed to do it. In fact, I'm sure that somewhere there's a tether that actually works by reversing it up the field, just to prove me wrong. Because, you know, the world loves to prove me wrong. It really does. So this is just a bit of relaxation time for me, almost. Just tedding. Because it's an easy enough job to do. I'm going to hit the milk thing. Just missed it. That's going to be fun to windrow. So I'm sorry if you can hear any background noise. My sister's a friend over, and I think my sister's doing like college work at the moment, but everybody always makes noise when they're downstairs. I don't know why, it's really annoying. So tedding is going on. I really have no idea what to say about it. I mean, we're flinging the grass over to dry it. I know in reality you'd actually leave the grass sit for a day to wilt, and you do it on one of the hotter days of the year. Well, a really, really dry day when you're expecting 2 or 3 days of dry weather. You'd leave it for a couple of days, then bring in the tether to fling it about a bit, and then maybe leave it another couple of days just to make sure it's fully dry, then ted it again to double check, then windrow up. Because I know some farmers do like double tedding it well, basically to make sure that it's all dry, or as dry as it can get before windrowing it. I know most farmers don't have tethers this big. Especially around Ireland and the UK, most farmers, unless they're contractors, they won't have a tiller that's actually wider than the tractor. They won't have much equipment that's wider than the tractor, really, ever. It's actually kind of comical just seeing the tractors coming by my house constantly, and then for like 1 week during the autumn, there's during the autumn time there's a really good chance of just say really good chance, it's guaranteed that at some point a combine harvester will come down the what amounts to a single lane road outside my house, and it's just comical watching a combine harvester try and pick its way through a residential area, a housing estate. I mean, it's the quickest way to the fields. It's the only realistic way they're going to get it up there, but it still looks funny. The only two choices they have, by the way, are like where I live, and there's two ways in. Where I live is kind of the wider road. There's actually a thinner road that one car can hardly pass up, so combine harvester's never gonna get up there. Which is why there's like a constant stream, almost constant stream, especially during silage season, of tractors just coming to and from silage, and it's kind of funny. It's just like, I've no idea how much silage you have, but it's clearly quite a lot, because you've been passing me for the last 2 weeks now. I am genuinely amazed at your ability to grass, because almost all silage in Ireland is grass silage. It's actually getting to that time of year. I read online, I can't remember where, the silage is going to be a bit late this year because of the weird weather we've been having, which isn't great for the farmers. Especially if we've got another bad winter this year. They're always running a bit marginal on silage, and if there's a late silage harvest, that's even worse. I know that much. Mainly from my uncle, being an actual farmer. So, I do hear things of farming and do know a bit about farming. I don't live on a farm and don't understand a lot of it. All I know is, well, farming is hard, and farmers, despite stereotypes, are actually quite smart. Some of them, and I'm not saying all farmers are like this, but some are very stuck with traditions and don't really have a lot of knowledge. And that's really a minority at this point. The majority of farmers now know what they're doing and are rather progressive. Not saying all of them are progressive, some of them are. The majority, I would say, are progressive and embracing new technologies, but some are just so stuck in their ways that they don't know what a Frisian cow looks like. And that's not a joke. I've seen a farmer who doesn't know a Frisian cow. Which, if he was an arable farmer, you could understand. He's a cattle farmer, he's a cow farmer, and he doesn't know what a Frisian cow looks like. Well, he probably does know what one looks like, he just can't identify buggers. Which would be fine if his herd wasn't entirely Frisians. I'm not even kidding, I've seen his herd and it's entirely Frisians. It's insane that he doesn't know what kind of cows he actually has. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here because we've been going for almost 25 minutes. KSP 1.0.1 has just been published. Obviously found some, well, I know there were some bugs that they wanted to fix. I just hope they haven't fixed the parachutes. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here. In the next episode, which I'll probably record straight after this one because it's going to be easiest so that I don't forget. because I kind of forgot that I had to spread PK before I recorded this one. That wasted a bit of time, but I was planning on recording. Oh well. In the next episode we'll be windrowing up the... well, it's now hay because Farm Sim magic of the tether. We're windrowing up the hay, and hopefully starting to bale it up as well. Now the aim is to get some cows eventually. Right now it's just to get money. So I'll leave you by saying I've been Rainbow Dave, you've been watching Farming Simulator 15 on the Canadian farm. Please comment, like, subscribe and all that good stuff. It does help the channel. If you're new, please do consider subscribing. It makes me feel happy and you should feel happy for doing so. Especially if you enjoyed the video. So, next episode will be windrowing, and I'm just going to get everything into position. Get on, gate! I keep forgetting about that damn gate. So until then, stay safe. And be careful that you don't forget about wild gates that decide to come and hit you every so often. Goodbye.